What's going on, everybody? Wilson here, your spiritual hype man. I hope you're having a great day, and if you're not, just remember it's the thoughts in our head. Hope you're, I hope you're having a good day. Other than that, just either ask yourself different prompt questions, or go biohack and do something physical. A good prompt question this week would be, what's something that made you laugh or chuckle, or knee slap? What was one of those things maybe in the past week or so that made you laugh? I think that's always a good prompt. What would that be for me? What made me laugh? What made me laugh? Oh, well, we put together a short. I'm gonna call it feature film. It's a short feature film production for B&I, presentation for B&I, and the theme of it was the theme of it and like the narrative definitely made me laugh. So that was a good one. Shout out to everybody involved in that. It being Slava, Steven, Eddie, and Babs, Barbara, in order of appearance, and then myself as one of the characters, of course, which was fun. So that made me laugh, the whole thing. I'll put the link up so you guys can watch it. It'll be fun. Would love to know what you think of it. Maybe write some comments. But there's lots of things that happened this week, and I'm just gonna hit on a little bit of both. So a little bit on all of them. One, cycles. So most recently, Patti and I were working on a project together for Patti, and usually, like if I were to look back now, right, which I'm looking back now, I'm reflecting. Looking back, we typically end up either raising our emotional like frequencies, raising our voices, being upset, being angry, saying some shit. Because it's like we're like two kids working on a project, and we're just like somewhat getting along but not getting along, and then like it's just like kind of mayhem sometimes, right? And we haven't done that in a while because the situation hasn't really like arose. Like we really haven't, other than pass bys. Like we're both kind of working on something, and she's like, "Hey, do you mind just looking at this?" And maybe we'll define it for a little bit, and then vice versa. I'll be like, "Hey, Patti, can you just look at this and let me know, what your thoughts are." But outside of that, like we haven't really put like on a project basis, like in terms of like both of us collectively working in the same space to put something together. And in this case, it was her landing page that we created. And then shout out to Patti and congratulations to you for becoming part of a BNI out here locally as well. So I'm proud of you, and you're gonna do great. So keep crushing it. So while because of that, it kind of put pressure on, like, let's make sure we have a good landing page for Patti, so that way, she looks, again, this whole structure of what we're doing, it's like, right, to whatever the situation is, like, you want to look presentable, you want to have, a good visual, especially with what you're doing, so that people can see visually, like, hey, this is my craft, this is what I'm doing in this situation or in this vertical of life, and I'm sort of doing the things that need to be done within structure for you to perceive me as somebody that you either want to work with at the end of the day. It's like you're exchanging something, or we're solving a problem for you, or you're getting a problem solved with the craft or medium or skill that we're doing to obtain and gain financial increments of what we perceive as money, right? So that's basically what's happening. So all in all, congratulations to you for doing that, and I'm proud of you. So while we're working on the website page, there's just moments and times where it's like, we're back and forth. We're just sort of not, we're just very emotionally charged, and like we're expecting something from the other person or vice versa, and then we're just like blah, and the next thing you know, just it's almost like mayhem, or like a miniature blow up. And so, within that day, within like less than a couple of hours, we were just back to normal, and just kind of like we talked it through, and had a good conversation at the end, and understanding a couple things. So the two things that I got from that is, one, there are going to be situations and cyclical situations that happen, but there's more time in between. Like there's a larger frequency in between the cyclical situation that repeats itself, which I don't want to say makes it harder, but I did, right? But it would be harder to identify if it doesn't happen all the time, and you're not sort of feeling that situation or the outcome more often than not. So my recommendation would be to maybe think of those, or like something that's coming up that maybe you're like, oh shit, this is a cyclical situation, but it hasn't come up in a while. Before engaging or interacting or going into that situation, giving yourself the perspective or the awareness to be like, hey, based on our precedent, based on looking backwards, like this is what usually happens, right? This is like the result driven, like FAQ, like information that we got from looking back. It's like we usually end up X, Y, and Zing. And so it would be important for the next time it comes around, and now it's on top of mind for the next time it comes around, that we're going to be working on something like that we're going to preempt ourselves, both emotionally, physically, and mentally, like that we're going to work together, and this is how we're going to approach it, versus approaching it how we've always approached it, which has just been sort of like our natural, like reactive state when present in that particular situation. Boom. And so that's what's, that's what I would like to share, and then just suggest to keep in mind. What are the cyclical situations? What are the best decisions to be logical? And then what are some cyclical situations that there's like a long period of time in between, and can you identify that before the next one comes? It's kind of like the blue moon. Like before the next blue moon, can you identify the blue moon and then figure out, like, is it a good situation, or is it a situation that typically, like, oh, I forgot that we typically react this way, and let's figure out a plan before we get in there. So that was one, and then the other aha moment also came today. I felt really great this week in terms of just like crushing things, being accomplished, and I think like once you continue to do things and you continue to accomplish things, there's like a level, there's like this emotional feeling of feeling good, and it helps you get on a different level, of just maybe even thought. And so this thought came from like worrying about, especially like what your peers think in terms of, and it's not like it's not important, right? Because there is a level of like caring about other people, right? And then, caring, and then maybe caring about their thoughts, which sometimes, again, can be like what they think, whether of you or not of you. And so the thought was like, no matter whatever our objective is in whatever vertical, right? Whether it's happy marriage, happy business, successful business, like whatever it is, like even within B&I, the objective is to help pass referrals. So like, successful passing referrals, like there's always going to be people that you're going to interact with that are either, there's always going to be people that you're going to interact with, right? Moving towards that goal. Now, there's typically like, I feel like there's going to be a group of people that you share commonalities of ideologies, thoughts, ideas, perspective, etc., fill in the blank, that are going to help you get there. And then there's quite the opposite of that as well, that maybe you don't share those ideas, thoughts, ideas, etc., and then you don't. And if you were to potentially go down the decision-making route of, let me keep interacting with these individuals, or allowing myself, again, because sometimes I do it, and I'm pretty sure we all do it at some point, like allowing myself to like think about, like, hey, is that the right thing? Did I say the right thing to those people? Are they perceiving me as a bad person? Like taking that time in our heads to like worry about that takes time away from doubling down on like the people and the decisions and the things that you can be doing with the people that are actually going to help you. So I realized that I'm like, man, and I feel like it's because I am inclusive. Like, it doesn't matter who you are, you just come hang out, unless like there's a level of disrespect or some shit that like I don't want to talk. Like again, so sort of the same thing. Like unless you're somebody that just kind of like absolutely rubbed me the wrong way, I'm just like I don't want to associate myself or talk or really just interact or waste my time. Really is what it is. Fill in the blank in insert situations. It's very seldom. There's not a lot of people on that situation, but I think that helps also, just understanding like, there's always going to be like these two groups. One is either going to help you, and then the other group isn't, and that's okay, because like it's just okay, because that's the balance of, I guess, life or whatever, the balance of just like the equation or the matrix or fill in the blank. But that was one of them. So, but if it felt good, like being aware and then like realizing like, yeah, that makes total sense, super logical. So just keep doing what you're doing with the homies that you're doing it with. And then the last, not the last thing, but the other thought was, in the big scheme of things, or the macro level of picture, in terms of the fight, like, I guess I don't want to say the macro, like not like the OG, like the 001 macro level, but like the, I don't know, 00 like 3 level or 4 level or 5 level, which is in the structure that we live in, or most of the world that we live in how society has like created the structure, and then the structure that we continue to use, driven by, I would say, the financial aspect of things, right? Like of gaining the dollar, like to be able to do whatever you want to do, right? So like the idea is like, hey, if you can accumulate as much money as possible, or like the amount of money that you need to like do whatever you're going to do without having to do it, like having free time, basically, like to just fuck off, like if you want, or build something or whatever the fuck, but you don't have to like you don't have to go to a job or work or do something for money, like having enough of that to just have enough time to do whatever you want. In the big macro level of things in our society, all we're trying to do is buy back time, right? So we're just trying to have enough of this worth value digital asset / number in our bank account / 00 after like numbers, right? Like 000000, like to be able to just do nothing or do whatever the fuck we want in that moment. And that's it. Like that is our main objective in this structure that we live in, within the financial sector of the structure that we live in, like, you know, which is basically our macro 003 structure of like, wow, the whole world is basically on this, I got to go get some money to be able to live and pay for things, which is fine because it is just the structure. And, you know, again, it's sort of like the world is flat. It's like the world was flat for the longest, so nobody could understand or even comprehend if the world could be round. And I feel like it's the same thing. It's like we're in the world is flat stage with the understanding of dollars and money, which is fine because it's just the structure that we live in. Like, can it be changed? Probably. Will it be changed at some point? But right now, like that's the game, right? The game for most, unless you're like some of those indigenous groups of people that live like in these islands off of like these other, like in the ocean somewhere, you know, most of us are like, all right, I need to go make this money so I can, you know, do X, Y, and Z. Some of us is like that, buying the, you know, the house and the rolls and the whatever, like things like that, which is 100% perfectly okay too. But at the end of the day, on the macro level of things, we're just trying to go get this paper thing, and that's like that allows us to like buy back time. And so I realized that that's my only objective. My objective now is to make enough money to buy back time, so that way I don't have to do anything that I don't want to do, or do everything that I do want to do, is probably a more positive way of saying it, you know? And that's what I've realized. I've realized that. And then that's where the thought came. It's like, okay, well, if this is my objective, my objective is to make as much money as I can within the structure in this game that we're playing, so that I can buy back time, and that way I don't have to do things I don't want to do, which I would say is total like liberation of thyself, right? Of the person. Like it's just, you can do whatever. You don't have to do anything other than what you want to do, which is ultimately what total freedom is, right? But like I would say total freedom is a human right, though, right? Like when you're born, right? Like wouldn't that be something that like that would be a perspective that I would present to just like, right, once we're born should be like a total human right to like be able to have your time for yourself, like, you know, without having to pay for it. But again, that's just not the structure. So that was the thought. It's like, all right, Wilson, this is now what we need to do. We need to buy our fucking self as much time as we can. We got to go do this. And now there's going to be people that you're going to interact with, and there's going to be people that you're going to do things with that are going to help you do that. Right. And there's people that they aren't. So don't spend any time or thought or waste any of that particular energy with that putting yourself in that situation with those type of people, just focus, double down on the people that are absolutely there to, help you and help you in this game, in this video game of financial success, right? And obviously through there, building relationships, et cetera, the emotional connection will forever be there. But definitely definitely focusing on the people that are going to help you get there. So that was another aha moment. And then what do we have here? And I guess a big shout out to all the homies that were part of it. I know we already talked about it. So that was it. Buy back time. Well, let's buy back our time. Figure out how to do that for yourself. And then from there, I feel like if everyone just like I imagine, okay, so let's say the world was flat and now the world is round. So I imagine if people all bought back their time and everyone was just free to do what they wanted to do, I think evolution would continue to probably be at its best, right? Because even though, like I feel like when there's a need, there's a push for evolution. I also think like technology, like if you didn't need to, like technology will continue to exist, whether it's the dollar or the Bitcoin or the non-existent payment. Like, I think that would continue to exist because the resources are still here, the products are still here, the things we make, chips are still part of the earth. Like, why wouldn't that just be something that you continue doing if it weren't, for the achievement of dollars, which ultimately is the achievement of buying your time back, which is fucking nuts. So that's the game. That's the game. That's it. That's all you have to do. And here's something. All right. So based on that, here's something that I had suggested to Rudy. Right. So Rudy's our 19 going on 20-year-old. I had said to him, Rudy, if someone could have came to me and spoke to me in high school, like, or if I would go to high school right now, all I would say is like, all right, guys, listen, here's all you have to do. Okay, there's only a couple things that you have to do for the next 6 to 8 years, and I'm talking specifically in the context of buying back time, being able to not have to do what you don't want to do, right? Like doing what you want to do without having to do the things that you don't want to do. All you got to do is between high school graduate 16 or 18, in terms of graduating high school for the next 8 years. So 8 and 8 is what, 6? By the time you're 26, for 6 to 8 years, all you got to do is go out there and make money. Make as much money as you can and then start putting it away. Do not spend it. We'll spend it on here and there and the things that you want, but definitely have like a good amount saved, right? And then also, all right, so I'll take them back. So once you have a good amount saved, you can start investing in assets, whether it's, I would say within the 3 to 4 years after that, like, don't even worry, like from 18, don't even worry about, all you got to do is save for 3 years. There's nobody you need to talk to. No, like, for most people, right? Because there's some people that obviously like don't fit within this category, but I would say for most people coming out of high school, it's like, dude, for the next 6 years, your main goal is to go work, either learn a trade or just figure something out where you're making a lot of money within the same amount of time, and you save for the next 6 to 8 years. Around around year 3 or 4, that's when you start like figuring out who you're going to talk to. Like, you shouldn't even talk to anybody outside, like, after 3 or 4 years, because after those 3 or 4 years of saving, you probably have a decent amount of dollars that you can go talk to someone or figure out who you should be talking to. B&I members are great, because they're vetted, right? Or things like that. Somewhere, someone knows somebody. You just got to ask the right questions, right? That you can go talk and are super trusted. A good example of that for us would be our accountant. Our accountant and our bookkeepers both are amazing people that, like, it's unfortunate that everyone doesn't have an accountant like them or a bookkeeper like them, because they know what's up. So it's the same thing here. It's just like, within 3 to 4 years, you find that person and then you start investing, whether it's the home or whatever it is, until the time you're about 26, right? Parents are not going to kick you out. Like, if you want to be home and you have a plan, but by the time you're 26, you already bought a house, that's a proud parent moment. That's what I would say. That's all you got to worry about. Because at the end of the day, after you're 26, whether you're 18, 19, 20, 24, 28, 26, 23, 34, 37, 39, 50, 51, 60, 92, like whatever age you're at, the idea is to be able to live your life how you want to live it. That's it. To do the things that you want to do at the time that you want to do it is total human right freedom. Like that's total freedom within the structure that we live in. And so the main objective for anybody right now is to really understand your main purpose is to go make as much money as possible within the structure, figure out how you can make the most within the shortest amount of time or, within the same amount of time. So like, for example, if our kiddo is working at job A and they pay him $12 an hour, can he figure out either get a second job and make $24 an hour or get a different job, get rid of job A, get a job C, and job C actually pays $25 an hour, right? Like, go do that $25 an hour job, whatever the fuck that is. Go do it because you can maximize and you have the skill to do it within that frame, and then work for the next 6 years and save all your fucking money within year 3, year 4. Then you can start figuring out what you're going to invest, whether it's buying yourself a house, etc. That's what I would say from high school right on. Unless, again, your journey is, I want to be an astronaut, I want to be a doctor, or you're going to go do something else, etc., etc., etc. I'm talking about, like, for most, like 80 to 70% of like those high school students, because typically what we do is we either go to college, which is fine too. You can go to college, but you should still be like, if your decision is like, I want to go to college, go do that, but still very much the same, with the same like objective of like, I'm going to make as much money as I can while going to college. I'm going to save most of it and not fucking, spend it. And then within year 3 or 4, I'm going to figure out what I'm going to make this investment on, whatever it may be, whether it's stocks, index, buying property, etc. But you're going to do something with that nice little bit of cash that you saved, because your only objective is to make as much money as possible. Because when you do, and you have all these assets and you know how to fucking use them, and you know how to, like, everything that we're learning and compounding interest and all this stuff, and buying the real estate and having this value, like all those things will ultimately lead to you having enough residual, like numbers, ones and zeros in your bank account, that you truly will have the ability to do what you want when you want, and that's total freedom. And so for anybody else that's not within that category, it's still very much the same. Now you just got to figure out what does that mean to you, and do you want that? Like, do you want total freedom of just not having to do what having to do whatever you want whenever you want it? So the question is like, okay, so then how are you going to achieve that? What does that mean to you? Like what is that number? And that's what we're trying to figure out as well. Is like, what's the number? But that's what it is. Like, what's your number? Like, how much money does it take you to live? You know what I mean? Like, know that number, and then what does that mean, and how do you make as much as you can, over a long period of time, just so you have it. So that's the main objective. That's the goal. And obviously, it's usually you're solving a problem for someone else, because that's all it is. It's like every day from 24 hours, 7 days a week, there's always something going on or some sort of interaction, right? So it's really just like a continuous inner transaction of things. There's a problem somewhere, it needs to be solved. Someone's got the solution. Someone's going to pay for it. And these problems are all similar or similar in certain aspects and situations, but they're all also very different in terms of like the arena that you're playing in. And that's it. And that's all the macro level shit is. Yeah, so that's been my week. Hopefully you guys had a great week as well. And we're going to leave it at that for now. Please continue to share and comment. I appreciate all the love. Appreciate all the listens on the special guests. Thank you for listening, and I hope you continue listening and sharing with everybody else. We're going to be giving away a retreat to Casa Om. It's going to be coming up in July. Please be, we'll share the information. Obviously, listening is going to help, and there'll be a couple, rules, regulations, responsibilities, conditions, whatever vocabulary word you want to use it there. Just in terms of, obviously, like the main objective here is to help us increase our awareness, to help us increase the financial, like the income that comes in, because ultimately our goal is to be able to be totally free, right, and help those other people get there as well. And so, really the whole thing is gonna be a giveaway And you can be entered to win if you go to ncyd.com and purchase at least $100 of our awesome fucking shirts that have, great sayings on them that are going to get people and ourselves to just remind ourselves, or just give people a perspective, or just be like, oh, that's a cool fucking shirt. That's it. It's going to be very simple. You buy $100 up to $300 max. You buy $100 up to $300, you get entered to win a retreat at Casa and Potomac. So that's it. We're just going to put that out there. We're working on the landing page. We got Patty's landing page done, right? That was super important. We're going to get this giveaway landing page, and as soon as it's ready to go, we're going to hit, we're just going to share it with the community. I hope you guys share it with other people too, and just grow this thing, and it'll be awesome. Most likely, we'll be there. I think that's what we're looking to do as well. But if not, you'll also get just to enjoy it with all the homies that we know out there, including Hargaben, who will be on the podcast coming up. So take a look, take a listen, and not keep an eye out for that one coming up soon. And don't forget, nothing changes to you. Keep crushing it. Love you guys. Peace.